Hello and welcome here to Iowa Plains to a brand new series I'm going to call the Family Farm. And the basic premise of this series is we already have a well-established multi-generational farm here that I'm basically like the third, fourth, fifth generation farmer here on the family farm. And we're just kind of playing it and seeing where it goes. Now I did spend a lot of time setting up our farm, so it is pretty much built from mostly scratch. I did try to incorporate some of the base, starting farm into it, but I kind of wanted to make it my own a little bit, and just kind of like go with the thought process of, hey, if I wanted to build a large multi-generational family farm, like this is what I would see it being in my head. So that is basically our backstory here. I am driving over to my house, which is actually not on the main farm, and a little piece of land I bought because, kind of the backstory there is, the parents, they have the main farm. I am just starting out, getting my own place and building it up, and eventually someday I'll inherit the family farm fully. But for now, all I'm pretty much doing is just working my land and also working the family farm land as well, and kind of managing that, kind of being a farm manager for the parents and doing a lot of the work for them. So we're gonna head over to my place here, and on the left here, pretty much all the land on the left belongs to the family farm, and what I have is just a really small piece of land because, again, I'm just starting out. So we'll kind of do a little quick drive through of what I have, and then we'll from there head over and check out what the family farm. So this right here is, that's my house there, and this is my field here. We are in the month of October, so a lot of work has already been done. The canola field here was already planted in the previous month, and we've already sprayed herbicide to kill all the weeds, and we actually do have it perfectly fertilized, and the pH levels are perfect as well. So this field we're set until it's time to harvest, and I only have the one field, so as far as what I have, it's pretty easy. It is actually a large, well, not large, but it is a good sized field. It's about 10 acres, so I'm really hoping I can make some good money off of this, because starting off with, we do have a bit of a debt here, so I'm going to try and get that paid off. In fact, we'll hop in the menu real quick and just kind of check out the map before we continue our tour of everything. So where we're at right now is, well, we started off up here at the store. We kind of drove down to my farm, which is right here. Nothing too big here. And I do have a house, a field, and a silo, and some equipment. Also, to pay for all that, I had to take out a $1.2 million loan to cover that cost. So I do have that. The monthly payments are, just a little over $5,400 a month. So that is going to be the challenge for us, is covering that. We do have a good starting balance here. And my parents on their farm we're kind of all joint ventured on this, so any money we make from that can help cover the cost of getting this loan paid off. And then we'll check out the family farm up here, which is basically this entire top corner of the map, which is basically all of these fields here. And this is the main farmyard, which we'll go check that out after we get everything going here. So just heading down here to the barn I have. And over there I have it's nothing fancy, just an older silo for storing our grains once we do our first harvest. So we head in here. We do have a nothing really fancy, no fancy equipment here. I have a older Massey Ferguson 3670, and we have a nice little trailer here and a nice little horse planter. And I'm gonna probably stick with canola for now, just because it's a good crop. I might switch over to soybeans, but we'll see where that takes us. And we do have a nice little, nice harvester and a header to go along with that. And yeah, so this is actually, that's pretty much, that's pretty much my farm. That's it. Not a whole lot. There is some land here next to me with some trees, and there's more fields and all that. And, maybe down the road I'll expand, but honestly, with the amount of land I have to take care of on my parents' farm and the family farm, I don't see myself expanding any further than what I have, because it's already a lot of work. And right now my main goal is work the land, take care of all the animals, and get out of debt. So that's where I want to be. I want to be debt free, so we can, after that, we'll start doing some more expanding. Now, to get debt free, we'll might have to spend some money to make money, because that is a thing. There are a lot of opportunities on this map, and a lot of businesses we can purchase to kind of help make money quicker and more efficiently. And so we might go down that path. But let's head down here and check out what is on the family farm here. So actually, let me just pull off the road up here. And I do have the traffic turned off just because we're doing a lot of driving around, stuff like that. I don't have to worry about traffic. And when we get up and running, we're going to be using a lot of auto drive and course play, because like I mentioned, this is kind of a straight out let's play series on this amazing map, which Iowa Plains is, well, a little bit of history there. Iowa Plains is actually one of the first maps I ever did a series on when I first started the channel. That in Stone Valley. And Iowa Plains View is actually still today my overall top map. It's my favorite one. I absolutely love playing it. And I've played it off and on, like in personal playthroughs, pretty much ever since it came out. And I know the map author does have the new map coming out, which might already be out by the time this recording comes out. Alma, which I am really looking forward to that. And I hope to play that when it comes out. But yeah, as I was talking, I didn't talk about what we were doing over here on this field. So this here is our, well, it's a large grass field. And we're going to primarily use this for feeding the cows. And you might think, well, this is a lot of grass. Well, yeah. But the theme of this farm is we have a lot of cows. Quite a few cows, actually. And we have some dairy cows, but we also have a lot of beef stock. And as we tour the farm, you will kind of see why. And actually, before we head down there, let me just turn around here without driving down the embankment, because I want to show the fields here. And then we'll from there head into the farmyard. And we're still early enough in the growth cycle where driving on the field isn't going to do any damage, thankfully. But here we have a very large canola field. It's just around 24 acres. It is a large field. And I'm really hoping we'll make some good money off of this crop. And it's one of those things where we don't really have a whole lot of productions for really increasing that revenue, but we might look into that in the future. Now let me just head down here. As you can see here, we also do have actually a couple of cornfields. So we have this one here, which is actually ready to harvest. And then we have another one here, which is also ready to harvest. And kind of probably our goal for this episode is, besides just doing a tour of all the farm and all the farmlands and all the fields and stuff, because I do want to harvest it. Now, kind of as a general rule in this series, I don't really want to have goals per se. I just want to kind of play it and see where it takes us and get done as much as we can, and just kind of have some fun. I'm not gonna do a whole lot of like fancy editing or anything like that on this series, but I do want to just kind of have some fun, like share with like, hey, this is how I actually play the game. Now we have this field here, which is a wheat, which we just planted, and it is growing. However, it needs to be sprayed with some herbicide, because we do have some weeds coming up. They're pretty good infestation, actually. But this field is actually also very large. We have about 26 acres of wheat, which is going to be really awesome come harvest time. However, it is a lot of work. Most of the fields we have actually are fairly large fields. Now let's head over here. So we have our cornfields, which we're going to be working on those shortly. Then another field we have here is our sorghum field. This one is actually also very large. It's going to be a very recurring theme here. This one is about 30 acres. And we actually just harvested this, and we're going to let that sit until it's time to replant, because I really don't plan on changing the crop types too much. We're going to pretty much stick with what we have. And because we have a good different types of crops, we might change it up, just kind of see where it takes us. But for now, we're just going to stick with what we have and kind of keep everything kind of the same. Not saying we won't change down the road, because again, this whole series is really just focused on let's just play and see what happens. All right, so let's get back out here on the road, and then we're gonna check a couple more fields up here, and then we'll make our way from there back towards the farmyard, and kind of do a tour of all the facilities and buildings and all the equipment that is on the family farm, which is pretty well established. I will say it is very well established. All right, so here we have what's our potato field, and it's all been harvested. Right now, weeds are growing over it, and we're kind of letting that grow. Well, we will let it sit until we get ready to replant the potatoes, which is not going to happen right away. That will probably be a couple of months down the road. And then I think this will actually be our next to last field to check out here. So what we have here is alfalfa, and that is actually growing right now, and we will kind of let that grow and then work on that as we progress. The plan with that field, though, is we're just going to let it grow, and then once it's ready to be harvested, we'll harvest it. I might replant it as grass, because we have well, here, I'll show you when we get back over to the farmyard as to why I might change that over to grass. So kind of a thing on this map is grass is like normal grass, but alfalfa actually pretty much does not kind of follow the same growth cycle as, well, grass does. So it's not as doesn't produce as much hay. You can only harvest it so many times. So we'll start over here. Just park the truck here for a moment. and we'll kind of do a little tour of the animals and then check out the buildings along the way. So we have here is a sheep pasture. This has a capacity of about 300. We only have about 110, and we're currently feeding these hay. And the reason I'm choosing hay instead of grass is just because it's just easier, because hay is one of those things where you can feed sheep and you can also feed hay to the cows. I know you can feed grass to cows too, but hay is actually much better for feeding cows. So I kind of went with hay. So this is actually one of our bale barns here, and we do have it stacked right now. It currently has about 57 hay bales stacked from the last time we mowed. And over here we have one of our 3 cow barns. So this one holds about 500. We currently have 155 cows. These are all dairy cows. And the primary purpose of this one is, well, yeah, for making milk for dairy. This is actually a really awesome cow barn. I actually have not tried it out before, and I've been wanting to try it out for a while. So I'm going to try it here on this map here. It's very well designed and built. And yeah, I kind of really actually like it. So I figured, hey, this is a great map to try it out on. Let me just open this door here. But yeah, so this is going to be one of the ones we're using here. It does have a pretty high capacity. And I did add a liquid silo extension over there for the slurry. So we actually have a slurry capacity of like 5.4 million liters. And I'm not positive, not going to commit to it, but I'm kind of thinking I may attempt to use the pumps and hoses. I've been wanting to try that DLC since it came out, and I really have never tried it. I've attempted a couple times, but just never really tried it. So we might. That was kind of my thought there. I wanted to get a large slurry capacity. Now this is actually another liquid silo, which we're currently using for storing liquid fertilizer. It has about 30,000 liters in it, which is really expensive. We have that there for our liquid fertilizer. And then I also have this, which is a really amazing a container for buying seeds and normal fertilizer and stuff like that, just your field work silos. And this is actually from Gaming Joy. Really fantastic. He actually has Josh has like 2 different versions of this. He has this version, and then he has like the same thing but the older version, and each one of them has like 3 different types. One is where it's a buying station, one is where it's also a buy station but it's basically free, and then you have like a silo version where you can like put stuff in. I highly recommend checking those out. I actually use the old version on my Castleknout series, and you can check it out there as well. But I will definitely put a link to this in the description, so you can go check it out. It is a really amazing mod. So let me see here. Next up, we'll continue the animal, the kind of the survey of, or the introduction to all the different animal pens in a moment. But let's switch over to checking out the buildings, because all the rest of the animal pens are over on the other side of the farm. So what we have here is, this is kind of our workshop. This is where we work on all the different vehicles whenever we need to get any work done, and kind of also where my dad kind of stores some stuff. He has like the old truck, which I do love this truck, and I actually have used this truck on previous series as well. It is a really awesome truck. We also have our quad part here, and we might get some more vehicles down the road as money allows. So this is like a really old truck, and then right outside here we also have our farm truck, which is an old Dodge, and nothing fancy. It's just Okay, this was like the last truck before my dad got his current truck. And then, oh yeah, so down here, we'll kind of walk this way and then kind of loop around and we'll get to everything. We'll get to everything. So here we have is the herbicide. So this is kind of a filling station for filling up with herbicide. It's currently all filled up as well. And we also have a greenhouse here for growing, which we currently have set. It is producing onions and bell peppers, which I'm really hoping will bring some good revenue to us. And then we have some more animals here. This is our chicken pen. Currently has about 250 chickens. And it's pretty much at max capacity. I am kind of planning on eventually increasing this, maybe get more chickens, maybe building a chicken pen. I'm not sure yet. I'm trying to figure that one out. But kind of the plan is it is a max capacity right now, and once some of the chickens are growing up and fully grown, I do have some plans for them, and that will help us make a lot more money. And then over there is the parents' house, and then we have here is our corn dryer, which we kind of use in cases like, hey, if the corn's too moist, we'll dry it out, and which also actually helps really increase the amount of money we make from the corn, because fully dried corn is much better than just straight up corn. And then this here is our main silos, which right now it does actually have, because we did just complete harvesting not too long ago, over the last month or so. So we do actually have quite a bit in here right now. We have about 218,000 liters of sorghum and another 154,000 liters of wheat. Which both wheat and sorghum can be used to feed chickens. But obviously we're not going to keep all of that. We'll keep just enough to keep the chickens fed. Now, as you saw in the potato field, that was also fully harvested. So we have all our potatoes here, which is about 668,000 liters of potatoes. And we're kind of keeping this and the wheat and the sorghum stored up until it is the best price to sell those. Now here we have, this is our, I'm going to open these doors up because we're going to be using some of this equipment. This is our harvester shed, where we have our potato harvester and we actually have two harvesters, a New Holland, which is kind of our primary one. It's a New Holland CR 10.9 twin rotor. It is a really awesome harvester, really amazing. And then we also have a Fendt Ideal 10T, which is also a really big harvester. So we have two really awesome big harvesters here, which when you have large fields like we do, you need two harvesters and you need the biggest ones you can get because our fields are large. And then next up is this shed here. You just open the store and head in here. And this is kind of our, I guess, ground preparation shed, I guess you could call it. This is kind of where we store all the equipment for working the ground, as far as like getting it ready to plant, doing our, cultivating, fertilizing, liming, spraying herbicide. We have both a liquid fertilizer and then the particle fertilizer. We have both a planter and a seeder as well, because you have different crops types, so we need different types of planters and seeders. And let me just turn around here and head back out the door here. And then next up is our tractor shed. We have basically three large tractors, well, two large tractors and one somewhat large, medium-sized tractor, I guess. And then we do have another tractor also as well on the other side of the farm. But we have a New Holland T8 Genesis here, which is kind of our workhorse tractor, gets a lot of the work done. And we also have a case magnum here that we also use, which is also one of the workhorses of the fleet. We also, the last largest tractor is a JCB 8330 fast track. This one is primarily used for doing some carting, but for the most part, because of the size of the carting we're doing and the trailers and stuff like that, we primarily use these ones. These ones are also used primarily for like planting and seeding and all that. So this one does get some of the work for fertilizing, liming, and well, also it also has our small flatbed trailer here for moving stuff around and stuff like that. So it's like it gets a lot of the day-to-day work. And next up here is one of our main sheds where we keep all of the trailers for carting grain. Yeah. Yeah, basically, yeah. These are all our grain carts as well as for the potatoes and everything else. We have actually 2 trailers here. We have this one we use as well as this one. So we kind of use these auger wagons for emptying the harvesters, and then we have these set up on the edge of the field where we just kind of run over to them and dump into those. And I also have our milk trailer here parked as well, which we use for hauling all the milk from the dairy cows to get it sold. Let me just go and run around the corner here. So we have, yeah, this is kind of the family house here. Really awesome house just from Omatana. And then we have yeah, my dad, yeah, my parents' car plus my dad's truck right here. Yeah, awesome truck, by the way. I do like Fords, which I think has been established on previous series I've done, that evidently I like Fords a lot. But this would be the last part of the farmyard, the kind of the annex, I guess you could call it. So here we have a fermenter dryer where we are basically making a total mixed ration for all the cows. We do also have hay bales in kind of in reserve for the cows as in emergencies in case we run out of TMR, which I don't think we ever will. But right now it's yeah, because we have 941,000 liters of TMR sitting in it, so it has a lot. And I don't think we're going to be getting through all of that, but we have a lot of cows, so we could. So let's check out this cow barn here. This one is loaded with primarily, well, here, what's this school look here? So we currently have 61 animals in here. They're doing pretty good food wise as well. So just checking as we're doing a kind of our loop around the barn or the farm. I'm just checking all the food out and make sure everyone has food. But this one is filled with limousine cows, which are primarily used for, well, beef stock. And that is going to be kind of the focus of this one. And one thing I did kind of change a little bit is I did on this one and the next cow pen we're going to be looking at, I put in some, I give the cows a little bit of landscaping and some water, because cows, you know, they, as much as they like just walking around eating grass, they also like sitting underneath trees and having some cool, fresh water to drink. So I thought I would, you know, spoil them a little bit. And we have our main trailer here for hauling cattle around, as well as sheep if needed. And then we have our this is another bale storage, but this one is used for straw, because you want to make sure the cows have lots of bedding. So this is primarily used for storing all of our straw bales so that we can make well, bedding for the cows. We have our telehandler here, which is ready to go for that. And yeah, one of our manure pits. We have several of those. And I don't really have a plan for the manure. We'll probably just sell it because I don't think I'm going to be using it for on the fields at all. Not saying I won't. I don't. I may use some of it though. It would say using manure and slurry is not in this game, especially with precision farming. It's not really beneficial as far as like getting your fields to a perfectly fertilized state. But what it is helpful for is, hey, before you plant, put it down, and it helps save money on how much fertilizer you're going to use, because it helps get it closer to that state, but it won't get it to the perfect state. Let's talk about what we have here. So we have as you saw in the other shed over there, we have two trucks with our trailers and all that. And we actually do have another truck, an older one, from quite a while ago, but we have this one as well, and another flatbed trailer, which primarily we're using for hauling bales. We kind of use it for other stuff as well. And then we have two of the items from the new Oxbow pack. One is a slurry spreader, and the other is a manure spreader. So we will be using those a little bit, hope maybe, to, well, like I said, cut some costs down on the amount of fertilizer we use, because fertilizer is really expensive. And we have a really nice Krone forage wagon here, which we're going to be using for carting all the grass from our grass fields over to the I guess you call it production, our little grass dryer and fermenter over here, although it's not very little. Also, by the way, there's our fuel tank for refueling everything. And then we have another trailer here. This one is actually primarily used for carting food. So like if we want to cart TMR from there to the different cow barns, I'm going to be using that trailer for that. Also, as well as for carting wheat or sorghum to feed the chickens. Now in here, whoa, this is actually our storage shed. This is where we're going to store all of our big bags and pallets of seeds, fertilizer, and whatever else we need. Turn the lights on here. So this is actually a really awesome mod from Stevie's Mod, and yeah, I really kind of like it. You can store all your stuff here, and you have basically your spawn point for all the big bags right here. Which actually, that shed and this one, as well as some of the equipment we're using, is also from Stevie as well. And this shed here is another one which we're using for storing, I guess you could say, storing the harvesting equipment. We do have our Fiat Agri tractor. It's another tractor, and I wanted to include it in this series because this is probably my new favorite tractor. And so I may be using this in almost every series for a while. For a very long time, probably. It is a really awesome tractor. Very well done. Yeah, I absolutely love it. And over here, we have our baler. We have a, so yeah, this is our Oxbow here for making our windrows. And we have our Vermeer here for making hay from the grass. And then right here we have our mower. Of course, I am using the Krone, the big boy here, because it's an awesome mower. And I really wish we had a couple more, but this one is a really awesome mower. And this is actually a slightly modded one. It does have the hitch in the back, which is really helpful for us. And then we have our two headers here for harvesting for the Krone and the Ideal. So let me close this here. And then that brings up the last two items. So we'll start with this one here. This is actually a production that we got. And this is going to be hopefully a big money maker for us. And it's kind of the reasons we have beef stock. And also kind of the reasons for the chickens, and kind of how we'll help really increase the revenue on those as well. This is actually a a butcher shop where we can bring our cows, chickens, even some lamb, even some sheep over here to for processing and making meat, which we can then sell for a much higher profit margin. So from this, we can make chicken, which gives us, well, it gives us chicken breast, drumstick, wings, and tenderloins, plus a byproduct of animal fat. We can also, if you want, make the whole chicken. So, you know, like Costco has those really amazing tasting rotisserie chickens. But we can make those as well. We have the cow processing plant, which basically is going to give us ground beef, steak, a byproduct of animal fat, and actually leather, which leather we can actually use in other productions for making clothes and stuff like that. We're not doing any pigs in this series. I do actually have a pig series going on right now, which is also on the Castle New map. So if you want to see some pigs, go check that out. And then we also, the last thing on this production is we have sheep. And what that's going to produce is, well, mutton. And then from there, a byproduct we have from the sheep is animal fat and leather. And then our last thing to check out is going to be the last cow barn here, or actually it's more of a cow pasture. So this one here is a large cow pasture we have with quite a few cows actually. And I was trying to see here. We currently have about 65 cows in here. And for food wise, it is actually doing pretty good. Actually doing really well. So we're pretty good on this one. I did put in a liquid silo extension just so we have plenty of storage for that, because this one actually does take water. And to be honest, I didn't want to have to keep carting water. So I put a 5 million liter liquid silo extension here, which gives us the ability for storing, well, 5 million liters of water. So that way we don't have to worry about it. But yeah, so this one actually also is going to be used for beef stock. And the cows here, because I mean, they're in, will they end up not the happy place, although it makes them happy people. We're getting them a really nice field here to just chillax and enjoy life. Nice open pasture with some trees, so we have lots of shade in the summertime. They even got a little pond here they can come out and, you know, relax in the water if they want on those hot days. It's a pretty large area, so I wanted to give them lots of space to roam around. But yeah, so I think that is pretty much the end of our farm tour here. So I think we pretty much covered everything. So it did take a little bit longer than I planned on. The farm is quite large. So I had planned on also getting started on the harvesting, but I think what we're going to do is we'll go ahead and wrap up this episode here, and kind of this brand new series and kind of a new style of series for me as well, because I've never really kind of just tried this type of series where I just kind of play and see what happens and already have everything pre-built ahead of time. I kind of wanted to try it because I've been wanting to do something like this for a while, and I thought it's time to do it. So I think what we'll do is we'll go ahead and wrap it up here, and then in the next episode we'll start off with getting the corn harvested and kind of work through our various tasks here. Now, one thing I did want to mention is I have it set at 3 XP, which is really slow because I don't want to have any time constraints on this. I just want to kind of, you know, play and see where we go and don't have to worry about time or goals, anything like that. Just kind of play and have fun. And I'm hoping that will make a really enjoyable experience for you as well. But for now, we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. And I really hope you're enjoying this first episode here on what is actually one of my favorite maps, Iowa Plains View, and this kind of new series here set on the family farm. Be sure to leave a comment, let me know what you think, and if you have not already, please subscribe. And until then, until the next episode, I hope you have a wonderful day.